is Scholastica Olal, and I'm currently based in the US as a registered nurse. I currently work at in Harris County Hospital. It's called Lyndon Hospital, and yeah, she's like, she's beautiful. Yeah, thank you for the compliment. So I came here start of the year in January, and I initially stayed in Florida for like 3 months before I came to Texas. So I'm going to just go through the process of becoming a USRN. USRN is a US registered nurse, coming from all the way from Kenya to the US as a registered nurse. So I'll go through the process of how it goes. Yeah. So there are different ways of coming to the US as a registered nurse. You can come through agencies, or you can come as a private candidate. You just do the process all alone. But the easiest way for somebody who wants like guidance, you don't know anything about it, you have to go through an agency. So I'll list a number of agencies so that you can put them down, because for you to start this journey, you have to go through the websites of different agencies, what they offer, because different agencies offer different things. Yeah, we have Avant, that is the agency that brought me here. We have Interstaff, we have O'Grady Payton, we call it OGP. We have Shearwaters. Shearwaters mainly takes, they say they take mainly BSN nurses, but currently even Avant and Interstaff and OGP, they take all BSN nurses. So if you're a registered nurse and you have a degree in, you have BSN, Bachelor of Science Nursing, then you are eligible for the program. Another requirement that they need is you have to work in a hospital that has at least, initially when you started they were saying 300 capacity bed hospital, but right now they have gone down to 150. So even if you work in a small hospital that is about 150 bed capacity, you're eligible to come to the US. If you work in a health center, you have to look for a bigger hospital that has a capacity of at least 150 beds, then you can apply for the program. The reason being is they want specialty areas, like you must be either theater nurse, ICU nurse, a med-surg nurse, accident and emergency nurse, midwife. Those are the criteria that they look for. So if you're applying, you must qualify for those areas, the specialty areas. Yeah. And apart from that, you must be ready to go through the program, because it's like the nursing school. You go back to books, like you have to read for NCLEX, that is the preparation for you to transfer your license from nursing council to the registered, to being a registered nurse. So you have to do the NCLEX exam. So I'll just be brief about my journey, then I take you through the process of how I came here. So my journey started in 2018. That will have been a long time. You must have patience. So I started I applied first in 2018, and I think it took me like about 8 months to study for NCLEX, because you have to pass NCLEX for you to come here.
What's the spelling of NCLEX?
NCLEX.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the exams that you have to pass, and you also have to pass English test. So for Avant, they prefer you do NCLEX and then you do your English test. But for other, like OGP that I mentioned earlier, you can do your English test and then you do your NCLEX. So every agency has their own way of going about all the process here. So the journey, my journey started in 2018. I first applied, and I was told I don't meet the criteria for being a registered nurse in the US because I was working as a midwife. they wanted me to work in a medical surgical unit, because at that time they were not taking midwife. So I'm just mentioning this because if you apply as a midwife, like right now, you'll not be taken. If you apply as a midwife, they don't take midwives. You must mention that you're working in a medical surgical unit or in other specialty except midwifery and pediatrics. They don't take pediatric nurses. But one thing that I will encourage you guys, if you know a nurse who is a midwife or who is working in a pediatric unit, don't be discouraged. Nursing school is wide and you have the background knowledge, so you don't have to mention exactly where you work. You don't have to tell everybody where you work. Just mention where they want you to be is where you want to qualify for. You apply for that area. So I worked as a I worked as a midwife for a long time, but they didn't want midwives that time, so I was disqualified in 2018. They told me to look for a med-surg unit, work there for 1 year and reapply. So I applied after 1 year, that is 2019. I was back to the program, applied for the process, did a series of interviews, which they are vigorous interviews for you to know where they can place you, whether they will place you in a med-surg unit or a telemetry unit or in maybe cardiac unit. So for me, as per my experience, they told me I qualified to work in a med-surg telemetry unit, and that is how the process started. After I passed all the interviews, because you do like 4 interviews before they register you for the program. So I did my 4 interviews and passed them, and that is when I signed the contract with them. So for any nurse who wants to start the program, you must know that once you sign the contract with your agency, whether it is Avant, whether it is Interstaff, whether it is O'Grady Payton, it's binding for 3 years. You can never break the contract. Whether you go to South Africa and pass your exam, or you go to South Africa and fail your exam, the contract is binding. If you fail your exam, they are willing to pay for you a second chance. Because one thing I know about these agencies, they are very persistent. They never give up on you. So if you go fail your exam, maybe they don't disqualify you. They give you a second chance. They even give you 3rd chance, 4th chance until you pass your exam, because the contract is very much binding. For Avant, they pay for you. The second time they pay for you, but you'll have to cater for your flight charges if you're going to South Africa. If you pass the exam in the first place, they pay for your accommodation, transport and everything. You don't spend any money on yourself when you go to South Africa. So before you reach the process of going to South Africa, I'll have to mention there are documents that you have to submit for them to the agency. Like you have to submit these documents to Avant. So if you're a nurse and you're preparing to come to the US, there are documents that you have to make them ready. You must have your nursing council certificate ready. You must have your college transcripts ready. If you're a BSN, you must go to your college, to your university of where you went to. You must get all these transcripts ready for them, because they'll apply for what we call it's a qualifying body to translate your papers, so that they know whether you went to the school really or you didn't pass the way you're telling them. So it's called, the qualifying body is called CGFNS. So CGFNS will qualify your papers, because the school has to send your papers directly to CGFNS. You don't send anything to CGFNS. So the CGFNS is the body that will verify your papers. So if you pass through this process of CGFNS, all your documents ready, then now you can go through applying for NCLEX. And for you to get the qualification to do NCLEX, we call it authorization to test. We call it ATT, authorization to test. If you get that authorization to test, you are given a date now for you to test. The agency will give you reading materials, all the books, all the website, everything that you need. All you need to do is just be aggressive and read. And before, I would say the most difficult part for most people is balancing between work, job, and the reading for NCLEX. Because for me, I would say it's all about just being persistent. They'll give you exams, you will fail them. I remember, in fact, there's a time I failed. I did an exam, I failed 3 times. And I told myself, no, I'm not going to do this thing again. I'm leaving it. I was tired. I was telling myself, I went through nursing school, then I'm failing these exams. No, let me leave it. Let me just remain in Kenya. I even called them and told them, I'm not going to continue with this program. Please, just leave me. I've failed enough. But one thing I want to tell you about my agency, that is Avant, they're very persistent. There's a lady there who called me and told me, Scholastica, we know you. We know your capability. Give it a second try. The last try. And told them, if I fail this one, I'll be more devastated. So just let me, though I failed, just let me be. I don't want to do it again. I was discouraged. But her persistency made me be here. I did the exam. I read for them. She gave me all the materials I needed. Like, they give you all that you need. So they gave me all the materials I needed, and I did the exam. I think the 4th time, I passed it. And that is how I started reading for NCLEX. So in the journey of you reading for NCLEX, you have to really, really be persistent. You can't start and stop. You must start and go through, even if it will take you a whole year reading for NCLEX. It's a very vigorous program. I know those who've been through nursing school, nursing school is like, I would say it's like military, because you never get time. You never get time even for yourself when you're in nursing school. So it is the same. They give you all the lessons. They give you all the material that you want for you to read for this NCLEX. When they feel now you are ready to go for NCLEX, they send you to South Africa. There are people who do their NCLEX in India, but the nearest place from Kenya, I would say, is South Africa. So we go to South Africa to do our exam. So after you get to pass NCLEX, now you are assured that your journey to the US has started, because that is the surety. You already know the state where you're working, you're going to work, because you already have your license as a registered nurse in the US. So the only thing remaining is for you to make your papers, legal papers for your dependents. If you have family you're coming over with here, you have to make their papers, like birth certificates for the kids, passports. You must make those ones ready. If you're married, you must have your marriage certificate, because you'll have to go through the embassy process. Now that is the place where the difference in agencies come in. They apply for you what we call I-140. You forward your documents plus those of your dependents.
Okay, so before you continue, let's hold there. Let's hold there. I want us to do a recap. She's now moving to the embassy. Okay? I want us to do a recap of what you need, the key points you need to put in mind when you want to come to the US as a nurse. Okay? So first thing she mentioned, don't work at those village hospitals. Okay? I call them village hospitals because they don't have bed capacities of 150. All right? So if you want to come to work in the US as a nurse, and we talk about her agency, the agency that brought her here. Let me write the name here. She's given me a list of several, but let me give you the one that she has experience with. That? Yeah, so this is the agency that brought her. It's called Avant. Okay? So Avant, we are sure she's here because of Avant. That's number one. So you can kindly explain more on... We are moving to that, Stano. We are moving to that. We want to recap the points that she just spoke about. So I am the one who interrupted so that we recap the main points, all right? Because I don't want us to go back to where we started. So she's now at the embassy. She's going to continue with that. But firstly, I want you to put in mind, you will not succeed if you are applying from a village clinic that has a bed capacity of 8 or 15. All right, that one you don't even stand a chance. You will go meet them, but they will ignore you. They will give you flimsy reasons for you not being able to qualify. Number two, you need to number two was you have to take an English test, and you have to pass that. And you also have to fill out your applications. You have to study very hard. So there is no easy way about it. There is no easy way about it. And she talked about going to South Africa. Okay, so the flight to South Africa, the budget is on you as the candidate.
No,
they pay the first time.
They pay.
Okay, so your flight to South Africa to take your test, the first round, okay, the first time, they pay for you. They pay everything because it is a contract. So the only time you pay is when you fail the test. But they still give you material and they still support you. But now you have to pay your flight back to South Africa for a retake of the exam. Okay? So I hope we are together at that point. So now she's moving to the embassy, and the filling of the I-140 form. There she is.
Okay, so once you pass your NCLEX, now you're assured the journey of making it to the US as a registered nurse has started. So you have to make everything ready, as I was telling you. If you have family, you must make sure their passports are ready, their birth certificates are in order, your marriage certificate, if you're married, is in order. So when you reach the point of filling the I-140 is where the difference in agencies come in. There are two different ways. Different agencies will do, like, there's the premium way. They'll pay for premium. Premium means that within 3 months, your I-140 is ready. There are those agencies that will take you the normal way. They don't pay for extra fee for your I-140. So I-140 will take like 1 whole year to be ready. So this is why I chose Avant. Avant pays for premium. O'Grady Payton also pays for premium. We have Sheer Waters that doesn't pay for premium. So you find a nurse who you did NCLEX the same month and is in a different agency will take a whole 1 year for their I-140 to be ready. Well, you as an Avant nurse, your I-140 will be ready within 3 months. So that is where the difference comes in. So when they forward your documents for I-140, you must make sure, why I'm saying the documents must be on point. There is no time you will say to the agency that now I'm married, you forwarded your documents as a married person, then the day you are going for your embassy interview, you go as a single person. You'll have to produce your divorce letter. So if you are sure you're coming over with your family, make sure all documents are on point. You don't have to change anything. Once the documents are forwarded to the embassy, you can never change anything. And if you have to change anything, you must have an affidavit. Like, you must get a lawyer to co-sign and swear that this thing has been changed in front of a lawyer. So there's no, the embassy, those are the things that will make you fail your exam when you go for your visa interview. So once your I-140 is ready, the Avant, like for example, will still take you through a series of learning, because you have to know so many things when you're coming over here, that they have different machines, they have different ways of doing things. Avant will take you through the culture shock that you expect. So like that program will take you, after your NCLEX, will take you also, depending on how fast the embassy works. Because for me, mine took a whole 1 year. We had retrogression that happened just before I came here. So it took me a whole 1 year for me to get my interview dates to be ready. So I would say the whole process took me like 2.5 years for me to be here. So that's a long time. You must be very persistent and you must be willing to wait. So in the process of waiting for your visa, now your I-140 is through, Avant will make sure that you save for this program. Because when you come here, they want you to be able to support yourself with the salary that you'll be getting. Apart from that, you'll have to have some money on you, because you're coming here with your family, you're coming here to start over afresh. So they must make sure that you have money on you. So they'll be calling you to ask you, do you have Do you have enough money? How much have you managed to save? Like, you'll have to tell them how much you've been able to save for you to be able to come here without bothering them, like, I don't have money for rent, or I don't have money for my utilities or anything. So you have to save, and you have to tell them how much you're able to save. Another important thing that I forgot to mention is about, you must have your driver's license ready. The one for Kenya. If you are applying from Kenya, you must have it ready. Because if you come here, you come as a qualified driver. You don't have to go through the driving school. Just go through the driving school to do the test for you to get your driver's license for the state where you're going to. They'll not take you through driving like now you are starting everything new. You must have your driver's license from your country ready before you come. Apart from that and the savings, they just keep you on top with all the happenings. Like, if it's anything that is needed, maybe for your licensure, there are series of exams. Like for me, I'm in Texas. I have to do the Texas Board of Nursing exam for me to be a registered nurse in Texas. Apart from being a registered nurse in the US, I also have to do another exam for me to be a registered nurse in Texas. So they'll take you through that, and they give you material also to read for that. So that is easy. It's like when you've passed your college exam, then you have to pass your nursing council exam. That is how it is here, just to explain it easier. So you come over here, you can do your Texas Board of Nursing exam online when you're in Kenya, or you can do it when you're here. Me, I did mine when I was here. So you get your license, and we renew our licenses. I think it's every like 10 years. Once you qualify for a registered nurse as a nurse in Texas, you've done your exam, you renew my license is due for renewal. I think it's not 10 years, 5 years. It's 5 years. So in Kenya, we renew our licenses. I think it's every 2 years or yearly. I'm not very sure, but here it's after every 5 years. So in the process of for you to remain as a registered nurse in Texas, now you must take a series of exams, and their online education that you have to maintain, so that you get your points over for you to renew your license when the time comes. So it's always a learning process. Yeah. So for Avant, once you go for one thing
after I-140 went through, what was the next step, and for how long did you have to wait?
Yeah, as I mentioned, mine took me 1 year after I-140 was ready. It took me 1 year because there was retrogression at the embassy. If there's no retrogression, then it's easier. You can even come within 6 months. But now it depends. Now that is where we say the agency does have nothing to do with embassy things, because it's a Kenyan thing. If there's a retrogression in Kenya, they can't control it. You have to wait. I have friends who waited for over 2 years to get their visa interview after I-140. Yeah, so it all depends on the embassy. Right now, there's retrogression for nurses who are in Kenya. They have never released dates since December. We were the last lot. We got dates in December. Up to then, there's no any other date for nurses scheduled for interview at the embassy. So that is the process where we say patience comes in. Because, as I mentioned, the contract is binding with Avant. Once you sign their contract, even if you'll wait for 2 years, they'll wait for you to come. And they're very persistent. They'll keep in touch. They'll tell you what you need to prepare. Whatever. Like, you even have to look for schools for your kids online when you are here, when you are still in Kenya. You have to look for a house. They give you, like, the neighborhood survey of the place you're coming to stay. They give you, like, crime rate in that area, so that you know the safest places to live. So when you come over, you have an idea of where you're going to live, where your kids are going to study, or your place of work. So it's a whole lot of process that they keep you on toes. Yeah, so I think I've answered that question. It depends on the embassy. Yeah. Okay.
Do they have? Oh, there's another question. What was the experience at the embassy? Are they tough and strict?
Yeah. As I mentioned, for me, as a registered nurse.
And guys, as she continues, can you please tap your screens and invite more people? Tap your screens and follow me. Be kind also. I also go out to bring you these speakers. Be kind by tapping your screens and following me and inviting more people to listen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so what's your experience at the embassy? I would say at the embassy, first of all, before you are prepared to go for the embassy interviews, this is where there's also the difference between agencies. Avant will prepare you and will tell you, arrange your documents in this order. You go to IOM first, you do your medicals, you pass your medicals, they tell you, arrange your files in this order. So you have all your documents ready. When you go to the embassy at the consular, it took me less than 5 minutes and I was granted my visa because of my agency.
Yeah.
Everything is in order. If you ask for a document, you produce it. It's on the spot. And just to mention, the agency will pay for your visa fee, but you will pay for your dependents. So you must prepare for that. If you go to IOM, agency will not pay for your medicals. You will pay for your medicals. So in the period of waiting...
No, these ones are people who want to join someone for nothing.
Okay. So in the period of waiting as you said, that 1 year period is for you to save, because you need money for embassy, you need money for your medicals. It's not easy, like it's not little money. You must work for it, you must save for it. So in that period you have to have some good savings. When it reaches the time for going to the IOM, you do your IOM. Within 1 week you're going to the embassy. Within 1 week your visa is ready. And very few nurses get denied visas because the process is clear. If the agency sees something that is going to make your visa process to be denied, they'll tell you, they'll mention it up front. So you don't have to worry. If you're with the agency, everything is on point. They'll tell you what to prepare. They'll have to go through those documents before you go to the embassy. And once you go to the embassy, the interview is clear. They'll just ask you, which state are you going to? If there's any problem you've had with this agency, very straightforward questions. And you have to be very honest. If you're asked to produce proof of your marriage, apart from your marriage certificate, you'll have to tell them where you met. Because there are people who come here, you marry just for the process, and then once you reach here, everybody go their way. So the embassy also know that. So they know when this is a couple that have lived together, so you have to... There are people who are told to even produce papers, like photos of when they were dating, or messages of how when they started dating. So if you are asked for anything, just be honest and tell them. There are people who go through the process and they're told to. They're not granted visas because they're still maybe they're doing investigations of their documents or anything. So if you're told you're put on hold, the embassy will just remain with your passport as they do the investigation. Once everything is ready, then you're called back, or they send you a passport with the visa stamped through DHL, and you get ready to come to the US. Yeah, that is... Before I go to the next step, maybe you can ask questions.
So there's something I need you to talk about. The family and dependents. Would you explain to them that it's not obvious that the dependents will all come? In some cases...
Yeah, it's not obvious that everybody will come. Only those you list in your I-140 as your dependents are the ones who will come. Because...
And sometimes you can list and they refuse, right?
Rarely they refuse. It depends on... Most of the times it's the spouses who remain behind.
Yes.
Children will always come, no matter what. Children will always get their visas. But spouses, if your husband maybe is a policeman, they will have to do background check on him. If he's traveled several countries, they will put a hold on him to do the investigations. If he's maybe having criminal record or anything that they feel needs to be taken care of, he'll have to remain. So it is not obvious that your husband will come with you. If he's not clean, as per the embassy, he will remain behind.
Okay, but the children is obvious. And then secondly, let me see, just approximation. what's the budget that maybe someone with a family of 4, maybe a man, a woman, a spouse, and 2 children, what could be the budget that someone could put down the moment they've passed the exam?
Yeah, I will say for myself, because me, I worked with a budget of, I had 2 kids and my husband, so we were 4 of us. So in IOM, I would say it costed us around 150,000 for medicals. This is because my vaccines were not in order. If your vaccines are in order, your kids are getting all the vaccines prior, before you go to IOM, you will not pay anything for vaccines. So you just pay medical, the x-ray, the physical exams with the doctor. So if your vaccines are in order, you pay less. Mine, I had to pay more because my vaccines were not in order. That is one thing you must know. So when you're preparing, just make sure that your vaccines are in order. Start your vaccines as soon as you pass your NCLEX. Make sure your kids are vaccinated. And the agency will give you a list of the vaccines that your kids need to have up to date, and yourself and your spouse. So that is one thing. For the embassy budget, you pay, it's around 28,000 per person for your visa fee. And this is money that you pay. Whether you get your visa, you don't get your visa, you don't get refunded this money. So if you have 4 people,
that's
just
like 102,000 again.
Yeah. So like you'll have around roughly 200,000 for the medicals and for the embassy. Then now coming here, you must have money, my friend. You must have money, because if you come here and you don't have money, you're going to get it rough. I will tell you the truth. Because the money that you're getting from your agency, like me, I came through Florida, I was being paid minimum wage. That minimum wage is not enough for you to start off. So you must have some money on you before you come here. You must look for money before you come. So if you pass your NCLEX, save. That is the time for you to save. To make it easy for you when you reach here.
So you have like 150,000 for medical. That's about $150, right? And then you have 102,000. No, not that's 1,000. That's about 1,000 and something, over $1,000 for just medical, and then over another $1,000.
Yes.
And then you come to plane tickets. That's almost 3,000 or 4,000.
If you're paying for your people to come together with you, then you have to get that money.
Oh wow!
But I will advise, because even my agency advised, you come here first, settle, work. When you start working, money starts flowing. Then you get money for your people to come. So don't worry about the tickets for your people. You'll pay for that when you start working over here. Because when you start working here, man, the dollars,
Yes, she should. Hey, Akon. Where I would get to money now, I bring my face. You heard what she said. When you start working, Rose, thank you so much for the heart. When you start working, the dollars start coming in. And I am a witness. I know how excited she was when the dollars start coming in. You know, that's why I had to bring her as my first guest. You see, because these are profession that's highly paying in the US. But other countries, nurses are not paid well. You know, and we are not encouraging a brain drain, you know, to have people come. But when they come, they're able to develop. The other place. Is this Diana? No, this is Diana. Diana, how can you ask me? You are used to seeing me cooking chapati, right? This is Diana. You know me very well. And this is my guest. This is my new show, The Awakening Show. And so I come in, I bring people to empower, to educate, to, pass knowledge and awareness. No, this is not Diana. This is my sister-in-law. Her name is Scholar. So Scholar recently immigrated to the US as a registered nurse. So she was sharing her journey of how she applied, who she used to apply, and all that. Today we are official. Yes, today. Nice. And Olivia is also here. Today you are not seeing me sweating. Yes. So now she's going to talk about the money. I want you to mention for them the money. You know, I want you to mention for them the money and how sweet it is so that they know. Because some of us who are teachers, yeah, we hustle a lot. We end up cooking, eh? But nurses, people in the medical field, America is for you. You know? So let us share with you the minimum wage and how far people in the medical field can get. They can even pay a politician in Kenya. You know, so you see Diana has written there, it's nursing as money. So let us share that with you.
Okay. So we finished the process of IOM, we finished the embassy process. We're now in the US now. So I think everything is clear about up to that point. So now coming here through my agency, we came and
housing, car. Yeah, mention housing, mention car, and mention the importance of housing.
What do we do in Florida? First of all, they prepare you. They must make sure that your housing is taken care of. You have to look for a house just before you go to your assignment. You must they make sure you have a car before you go to your assignment, and you have like everything to start off. So in Florida, there are classes that you are taken through, like nursing school. You go through the skills lab. I know most people know what skills lab is. You use those mannequins to know how to talk to your patients in the American way. You know the difference of nursing in Kenya and back here. It's different, whole lot different. Patients have rights. They have a right to tell you, I don't want this medicine, and they'll not take it. They have a right to tell you, I don't want you to take care of me today. And you will have to accept. Yeah. So those are the culture shock that we had to go through with Avant in Florida to be taught. The patient is high up. You have to listen to the patient. You must have that the rapport. Like they teach you how to approach your patient. Everything, the machines that they're using here that we don't have back home. Like for me, there are so many. Despite working in a very good hospital back home, I had to learn so many things that they are using here that back home you're never using. So those are the things that Avant will teach you. They will teach you how to, like in America, we are taught to speak up for yourself, and just state it how you want it. There's no going about the bush like they'll read my mind, I know what I want. You have to tell your manager or whoever you're dealing with, this is what I think and this is what I feel. You have to speak your mind. So back home, you know, we are a bit like manager and manager is somebody who wants to be approached in a way. But here you have to come straight and tell them, I don't want this, this is what I want. So they go, Avant will teach you to be assertive before you are sent to your assignment. The another thing is they'll help you look for a house. They'll do for you neighborhood searches for these places that you want to go live in. And it's very important that if you're coming over here, look for places where there are Kenyans, where you can be able to be assisted if you have kids. Like you have to juggle in between work and your kids. You have somebody whom you can trust, leave your kids behind with them so that you alternate. Another thing is they'll help you get a car. We have 2 financial bodies that help you get your car. When you come over here, we have Advantial. They give you a loan to get a car. We also have IS, that is International Auto Source, that will help you get a brand new car. If you want, Auto Source is a brand new car, 0 mileage. So those are the benefits of being here. Then now you come posted to your assignment and you now start working. That is where the difference comes in. If you're a nurse, when it comes to money, now let me talk about the money bit of it. Because when I was in Florida, I was paid minimum wage, and minimum wage for me was 2 weeks. You're paid what you will have earned maybe in 3 months back home. That is in 2 weeks. And that was minimum wage. Now I'm in my assignment. I start working, and for all agencies, I will say, you must work under preceptorship. Somebody has to follow you around what you're doing to make sure that everything you're doing it the correct way before now you're left to work alone. So during that period of preceptorship, it takes about 3 months. No. 6, not 3 months, 6 weeks.
Oh, someone is shocked. And don't tell them the exact, tell them bracket of. Someone is saying, someone is saying, she's tempted. Wait a minute, let's read the comments. It's a nice conversation in the building. Amani change course. Yes, change. Don't change. And then someone is saying it's tempting. Esther, you don't leave me. Oh. And then Winnie is saying, Winnie, that's true. That's true. These people, they are paid the whole universe. So let her continue to give you just a bracket, not her exact pay, but approximately of what they're given, so that you know that these are profession you can look up to, and the US is a great place if you are a nurse in Kenya. All these demonstrations happening. Look, don't waste your time. Come here.
Yeah. In fact, I'll encourage, if you're a nurse and you've not started the process, please, stop wasting your time. Back home, it's frustrating for nurses, but here, if somebody hears you're a nurse, they're like, oh, really? Because they know nursing is paying. So I want to just now mention about the pay. You start working alone, and here in the US, you make your own schedule. It's not like a rota that fits all of you in the unit. You must tell them, I'm available in these days. So long as you give them your 36 to 40 hours in a week, they're okay. But you just choose your days that you're comfortable working, because it's about you and your availability. So if you choose 36 hours to work 36 hours in a week, you give them the days. If you want to work extra hours, where now there's pay differential, if you like, you're paid more when you're working overtime, they even pay you for just deciding to come for that overtime. So it's called bonus. They pay you upfront for that before you come for that job. So that is where the difference comes in. Like, your differential comes in when you work over like 40 hours. So salary mnangoja nisikie. You want to hear about the salary? So I would say it's paid per hour, and the range.
Talk of the range, like the minimum to the maximum. Okay, like for instance, you know, when she was in training, she was paid minimum wage. Minimum wage here in the US is about,
in Florida it was $11.
$11. That is training. She was not working. Okay, she was not working. And then when she starts working, she's not going to tell you the exact that she's paid, but she should tell you the minimum that a nurse on contract. Remember, she's still on contract for a period of 3 years. Okay, and you are going to share with them how somebody can buy their way out of the contract. Okay, so we don't forget that. So she's on contract, and she's paid a minimum of, not she's paid, people on contract are paid between what bracket to what bracket.
So if you're on
and then
contract,
you're going to talk about now, after you complete your contract, how high does it go?
So if you're on contract, your agency will be, you'll be paid by the agency. You'll not be paid by the hospital. So my agency pays between $33 per hour to $42. If you're working overtime, that is, overtime is counted after 40 hours. If you're working overtime, you're paid 1.5 time and a half. We call it time and a half. It's 1.5 above what you are getting to whichever amount that you're going to work. If you're working overtime, it's a different rate. So like, if you're working overtime here, it will be between 50 to 60 per hour. That is where now the money comes, if you're working overtime. And there's also, in my hospital, there's what we call high availability. If you're called for a high availability overtime, it means you're going to be paid double. Like, if you're paid double of the rate, if your overtime rate is maybe 46, Then higher
Wait a
availability.
minute. Someone is calculating. Embrace, not me calculating. Calculate, my dear.
So if you are having high availability, you're called for high availability need in your unit. It means if your overtime is ranging between 45 to 50 to maybe 45 to 60, it means you're going to be paid double. If it is, let's just take the lowest, it's 45. That is your overtime. So per hour, you're going to get $90 per hour. That is when now the calculation comes in. So here also you must know if you're working weekends, you are paid a weekend differential. If you're working night shift, there's a night shift differential. So somebody's working day shift will not get the same money with somebody who is working night shift. Night shift earns more money. Weekends also there's a weekend differential. So the people will choose to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday because they'll get at least $5 to $6 on top of what you earn. Yeah, those figures are ranging. So don't say that I came here to say nurses are earning $90 per hour. No, don't quote me. Yeah. It's a range. If you're having in your unit high availability is where you'll get the double the amount of what you get. But if you're just working overtime, it is time and a half, like $1.5 above what you get.
And as you mentioned that, also remember also the travel nurses. Would you give them the range for travel nurses?
Oh man, travel nurses are making a lot of money because okay, what travel nursing entails is that you choose to come to Texas and you work for this hospital. Maybe you sign a contract to work with them for 3 months. So they tell you in 1 week you have to give us 36 hours or 40 hours. Anything beyond that is now your overtime. So the travel nurses, in my hospital we have travel nurses and they pay between 60 to 70. Yeah. That is how much a travel nurse, between that range. Yeah. And another thing they consider is your years of experience. I, in the US, with my many years of experience back home, I have over 10 years of experience back home. But here I'm treated as a graduate nurse, like somebody who has just come from school. So I'm RN2. That is why my pay is sisi ndio tunaanzia chini. Yeah, so nurses who are maybe RN1, RN2, RN3, RN4, they are earning way much more than us. So that is the starting for the graduate nurse. Like as you started like RN1, RN2. Those are salary ranges for graduate nurses. Yeah. So they don't consider your years back home. You have to start from here. So like for me here, I'm like a graduate nurse. Yeah. And
would you, especially for those that are watching from Kenya, would you maybe give an idea of when you talk about hospitals? Initially, they were looking at hospitals with 300 bed capacities, and right now they've reduced it to 150. Before I go into my question, let me respect this nurse's question. Is there an age limit while applying through Avant?
No, there's no age limit. We've had nurses who are almost retiring back home and they come here. In the US, I've seen there's no age limit. I have nurses in my unit. I see like they're working like all grandmothers and they're still working. So there's no age limit. You can apply even if you're 50, you've reached your retirement age back home, you come here, work as a nurse. If you feel the hospital environment is quite like fast-paced, you can look for a different like nursing home or whichever, but there's no age limit. Whichever age you are, even if you've retired back home, you can come over here and do something. Nurses here work up to whichever year.
Yeah, age. Because I remember even during COVID, even those nurses that had retired, very old nurses, went back to practice because hospitals were actually pleading, the government was pleading, retired nurses come back and help. So I really think that's true. They don't look at age, you know. As long as you've been a practicing nurse, you can come in here. Now the question that I wanted to ask Scholar is, Scholar, do you recommend, are there some hospitals that you may recommend in Kenya? You know, so that people can draw some comparison with others that they know.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Let me mention, back home I worked at Aga Khan University Hospital. So that it has all the equipment. Like I didn't have a struggle like getting to this system because their system was almost the same. Their documentation, we used Meditech, and here we also use Meditech. So it was not hard. So if you're back home, probably you'll have to look for Aga Khan, Nairobi Hospital, MP Shah, Kenyatta Hospital, this big hospital like even I wouldn't say Mama Lucy. Mama Lucy is a small hospital.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you just look for these big hospitals. You know them. Just go to those hospitals, look for a job. If you are a registered nurse and you're working in a health center, don't apply as a nurse. You will not be taken. Even if you mention to them you have so many years of experience, maybe as a midwife, and you're working in a health center, they will not take you. They want nurses who are working fast-paced hospital like those I've mentioned. Yeah, so that is where we draw the line. Okay,
so yeah, Winnie, you're in a health center, exactly. So this is the point now. Finish your treatment. By the way, Winnie is strong. Winnie is a breast cancer patient. She just finished her chemo and she's starting. I think she started. Have you started your radiation already? So once you're done and you're okay, you're recovered from treatment. Mombasa has bigger hospitals. Find your way into these big names, okay?
Yeah,
find your way into the big names.
In Mombasa, I will mention Pandya. I will mention Pandya, Mombasa Hospital, Aga Khan, because I worked in Aga Khan, Mombasa before I went to Nairobi. Aga Khan is also another hospital. So that's one thing that you must make sure that you're based in those hospitals so that you don't get the culture shock when you come here. Maybe you don't know how to do so many things. So that is the reason why they want nurses from these hospitals. And just to mention, back in Aga Khan Nairobi, we have like nurses coming over. Like in my time, we had over 6 nurses in my unit, just to mention 6 nurses in my unit. So if you're in another hospital, just look for this big hospital and then you apply, then they'll take you. That is the secret behind it.
Linda, you say, what of Makadara? What's the bed capacity in Makadara? I've never heard of that hospital. Yeah, if it is less than 150 and it is not really to international standard and you want to come work here, you'd rather move. Make a move now. You know, start applying to these big names that she has mentioned, because there are hospitals that are on a list of these agencies whenever they're looking for nurses. Oh, Makadara is in Coast General. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Coast General is okay.
Coast General is good.
Coast General is okay. Yeah, Coast General is fine because it has quite a number. It's a big hospital. So Coast General is fine. Yeah.
General. Okay, you guys. So I'm going to take a few questions, maybe 1 or 2 from you writing there. But as you write the 2 questions, because we want these interviews to take only 1 hour, and we're already at 11. So I know we started 5 minutes after 11, so after 10. So we're in good time. So before she leaves, I want her to share a few. I can go to Coast General from experience. Yes, great. Yeah. Go to Coast General, Winnie. We want you to get this thing. Now, I want a scholar to share some funny bit of her experience in the US. Maybe 1 or 2, 3 things. Some culture shocks that she experienced for Americans who are watching to get how we gist. So, what are some of the 3 major culture shocks that you've experienced in the US?
Yeah, I'll mention the culture shock. But before I go to the culture shock, I will tell you the benefits of being here as a nurse.
Yes.
One thing, you're going to have the best education for your kids. You see, back home, kids go to international schools. Here, now, your kids will have that international school experience here for free. And you'll pay nothing. That is one thing about it. Secondly, is the standard of living. Things are flowing. You don't have to go back door for anything. If you qualify for something, you qualify. If you qualify to be a licensed driver, You go through it and you pass, you get your driver's license. There's no backdoor thing. Yes. I know back home how we get our licenses. Sometimes it's not easy. Even if you pass your exam and you've not given them kitu kidogo, you will not get it. But if you qualify for something here, you qualify, you get it straight. Now, once you're here, another thing is you're given a car. You'll pay for this car for some period, depending on how much you've agreed on how you're going to pay. So that is another benefit. You'll have a car. And just make it silent.
Where is it?
It's somewhere. So those are the benefits. Apart from just working smart, as I've mentioned, if you come here, choose your overtime over the weekend. If you're working day shift, because that is where you will make the money. You'll be paid higher availability and you'll be paid weekend differential. That is good money. Yeah. So,
okay, Palushka is asking, how about dental health and hygiene? Are they recruited through the same? I don't know if she has a comment on that, because she's here as a nurse, but she may...
My agency doesn't take dental health and hygiene. They just take nurses and nurses alone. That is all. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that. Maybe the agencies that bring dental health and hygiene people, but I'm not sure. It's just nurses. My agency deals with nurses, and the agencies I've mentioned, just go through their website and you'll apply, and they're very fast. They go through your CV. If you qualify, they schedule an interview, and that is it. Yeah. So now the culture shock. Coming to the US, one thing I will say, language is a problem. Man, you get to know the English. Most of my patients, like in my hospital, they speak Spanish. So you go with your English and you are like, what are you saying? I'm like, the English of the nurse. That is what I'm trying to really, I'm trying hard to get in there, but I'm not yet there. And your patients have attitude. Once they know you are having that accent, African accent English, they have attitude.
Oh no.
They will show you attitude. That is one thing I'm telling you. It's not easy. My patient just yesterday told me, what are you saying?
Oh,
I can't hear what you're saying. I explained in my African English, this is medicine for what, and you know it. But she's like, asking the man, what is she saying?
Oh no.
Yeah, so that is one thing that you have to be prepared. Patients will show you attitude, and they'll show you attitude good. Yeah. So just brace yourself. Get to know that the English will just come. I don't think it's hard. But just stand your ground and tell them, you're not allowed to talk to me in this way. And if you're going to continue like this, I'm going to get the manager to allocate you another nurse. So you also have to stand your ground. You don't let them show you attitude and you just unamezea. No, you don't go under the carpet. You are the nurse and you have the authority to stand your ground. Yeah. Another thing when it comes to this, now, apart from work, dealing with the culture of Americans. This is one thing that I was told with my agency. Americans love space. If you're going to the supermarket, you line up. Give somebody space, distance. Don't push your trolley until you're like...
on somebody's butt. The way we do in Kenya, we line up like this. Yeah, we have to give personal space.
And one thing I will just share.
Just a minute before you continue. Esther is asking in relation to how, the patients are. Did it touch your self-esteem? How did you feel about it?
This is something I was prepared by Avant.
Oh, good.
Patients will look down upon you.
Yeah.
Just by looking at how beaten your scrubs are. So you have to be very smart. My friend, if you have worn out scrubs, they will look down upon you even just at looking at your scrubs. They will look down upon you just by listening to your accent. It's an African accent and they know you're from Africa. They start looking down upon you. But tell them, you have no right to speak to me in this manner. I'm trying to explain to you what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm your nurse today. If you feel uncomfortable, I can ask somebody to come over and take care of you. So don't let it get into you. Yeah, sometimes it gets really into you. Yeah, I will not lie. But what do? Go to the break room, take a break, take a sip of coffee and come back. Yeah, so you don't let it get into you so much. We also have nurses, or I would say, I'm in a live session, but I would say there are people colleagues who are just mean, who can just be mean because they know you are from Africa, Yeah. But one experience I've had the best experience at my place of work. The nurses are very positive, but the patients can be very mean. So you have to just know they have rights, and you also have a right. So you have to stand your ground in a way that they get to understand that you're taking care of them, and if they feel uncomfortable, they can always get a different nurse. Yeah, that is one thing. Yeah, culture shock outside work. I once went to Walmart and I lined there waiting for my things to be swiped. Like back home, we have cashiers swiping your things, and I was seeing people passing the line, and I'm like, how these people are just passing, and I can't get somebody to serve me. Then somebody told me, you have to go to the counter and swipe your things, pay for them, and go. There is no cashier here. So that is one culture shock I met when I came here. You have to, I lined there and I was wondering, why are people passing me? Only to know that you have to just swipe your things in the supermarket, walk and go. Yeah,
and there is no security person at the entrance of the supermarket.
You get into the supermarket with your bag.
Yeah.
In Kenya, we leave your
at
bag
a shelf somewhere.
At the shelf. Here you come with your bag, you walk with no pickpocketing. Hey, back home I know what happens. Yeah, so here they're civilized. You know, crime rate is high. So, and if you are caught in small thieving, you know it's your social security number and your identity is going to be put on over for the public to know. So if you're going to look for a job and you maybe stole something in Walmart, you know, it's going to affect your history forever. So just be straight, do your things the right way. Yeah, that is another culture. Another culture shock is that Americans don't speak loud on phone. Hey, you're in the supermarket, you're speaking to your people back home, telling them how things are, and you're so loud, you just see people turning like looking at you. Yeah, so you have to be very low
or get earphones.
Yeah, or get earphones. But they have seen nurses, they put earpads in their ears. You're not allowed to have your phone at work. So you leave your phone. I have a smartwatch, so whenever there's a message or an emergency, like I can always see. But I have my headphones on. If I need to talk, I just use my headphones. If you're seen with your phone at work, that is a no. You keep your phone in the break room, get it after when you're on break. And here is where we say Americans value their time. If it's break time, it's break time. You clock out and you're not paid for that break. If you don't go for your break, then you'll not be paid because you didn't go for your break. You have to take your break. So that break time is the time for you to take your coffee, take your lunch, and talk on your phone for as long as you want. It's a 30 minutes break. So that is, yeah.
And would you talk about the roads? And getting lost.
Yeah, that is one thing I'll just mention. My first time here, I was very lucky when I came here. I landed here with my sister-in-law Diana and my brother Ken. They took me through the process because I'm driving like 30 minutes away to my place of work. So you have to juggle through the highway. The first day I got lost. I called Ken.
After a long practice.
We went to practice for like 3 times on the road, going and coming 3 times. Then the day of going to work, I went so well. I missed exit, but you know when you miss exit and you reroute to get your place. Coming back, I got lost, and I got lost for almost 1 hour.
She came back so tired.
I called Ken. It was around 7:30, almost going to 8. And you know I left work at 6:30. Now it's 7:30. I'm not near home. And I don't know where I am. I just called him. I'm lost and I don't know where I am. Right now, I can't go back to the highway. Because you are going to the highway, you find yourself going to whichever, I don't know. You see like you are just following cars and you don't know where Yeah, driving in America is not easy. Yeah. So I got lost several times. And I'm still getting lost. But one thing I tell myself, if you get lost, you'll reroute and find your place. Yeah, so my first day of work was not easy. I got lost. I felt so miserable. You go to the highway and you're following cars, you're like confident, now I'm on the way. Then you find yourself, it's not the right way. You get off. Yeah, so that was my first experience. It was not easy. Yeah. But I right now, I'm still driving. I'm putting my GPS. I still can't drive to work without that, but I'm getting it slowly by slowly. And let me just mention something about coming here.
Yeah.
If you come here as a nurse, you will not have to keep one job.
Yeah.
One job will not pay your bills. Even if you do your overtime in those other places. Me, I have 2 name tags in my car. I come from this job, I know I've given them these days, and this other job I've given them these days, and this job is going to take care of rent, this job is going to take care of my car loan, and this other one is going to take care of my overtime, is going to take care of my grocery shopping and everything. So you must keep yourself on toes. Yeah, that is one thing I have to mention. I come from one job, when I'm off, I go to the other one. So I have 2 name tags. I'm looking, I actually have 3. I just started the 3rd one. So you just have to juggle between job and your bills, because there's nobody you're going to ask for money. One culture shock, hakuna kuomba pesa America. Your friend will tell you, you want money for what? Pick an extra shift, work for it, and then you get money. But there's no like borrowing money here. It's not easy. Everybody is working with bills.
When do you rest?
I rest 1 day in a week. Like today I'm off. I was exhausted. They wanted me to work an extra shift. I told them I'm not ready. Let me rest. So I'm resting today. I rest. My other job I work from 6:30 to 2. So in the afternoon I have, when I'm working that other job, I'm able to rest in the afternoon. I just lock myself in the bedroom and sleep a good one before the kids start disturbing. Yeah, so that is how I manage. And when I'm off, I'm off. I give myself time to relax. I don't overwork myself. When you come over with your husband, you must help each other in the house, because it's not easy going to work, coming back, taking care of kids, and also the house is not easy. So you must get somebody who's very understanding so that you can manage. Yeah.
All right, guys, you have had Scholar. Okay, I'm so happy that you guys came in. And you guys, nobody paid anything for my goal up there. You can see my goal at those bears up there. No one has even sent one goal. You guys, why are you so mean for me? How are you mean for me? No one has contributed to my goal. But anyway, guys, I hope that you've had a very nice time. And someone has said I should be doing this. Is your family with you? Yes, her family came after her. Remember, she gave you a budget of the plane tickets, of the immunizations and medicals and everything. So the kids followed her, 2 kids and her husband. They're all here.
Yeah, and one thing about my agency is that they come, your kids come, and you pay. Something I didn't mention is about the green card. You have to pay for green card for your dependents, because the agency will not pay for your green card. So when they arrived here, it took them like a month, just 1 month for them to have their green card. So now they're permanent residents, and they're good to go. So that is one thing that is very encouraging. If you do this thing, you get your residency, and after a few years you are able to get your now full citizenship as a US. So it's a nice thing. Yeah, there's my M-Pesa refused to buy.
Oh no, those are coins. I'm telling you, how much do you pay for the green card?
Yeah. You pay, it's around green card costed me, because I paid it long time. I would say about $30 to $40, 30 to 40,000 shillings. It's they're about, I wouldn't remember the exact amount, because I paid mine long time ago. So if you pay for that, and once you come here, they just it takes them a month for them to receive the green card. The green card is sent to your agency, and your agency will send it to your mailbox, and you receive them.
How long? Let this be the last question. How long did it take for your family to come?
It took them a month, because no, not a month, 2 months. 1 month after I started working, because I came to Texas, and it took like a month for them to come when I arrived in Texas, because I had to work, man, for me to get money. Back home it was not easy, because even raising that ticket, maybe we would have sold some piece of land for them to come here, but that is something I worked for in 2 weeks. I got the money. Yeah, so that is how nice it is. Yeah.
All right, guys, you have had. I hope this has been enlightening to you. And like I promised, I will be bringing different guests every week. And if you want one guest to come back, you just let me know. I know, for instance, for Scholar, you may want her to come back, answer some more questions. So you let me know, but I will still schedule her. So the speakers and guests that I have, they will be coming, once, maybe every 3 months or every 2 months, to talk about this again with people who are not here today, and as the show grows. So the show is growing. I have my list, very enlightening. Thank you so much.
The Avant website. Let me just
type right there. Scholar is sharing the Avant website. So again, thank you so much for joining. Just stick by. We have oncologists that will be joining me. We have cancer doctors that will be joining. We have nutritionists and dietitians that will be joining. We have preachers and pastors that will be joining. So we will have so many. We have admissions professionals, people who normally admit students, international students for different colleges. So I'm planning to bring a number of them also to give points and things to look out to when you're applying to college in the United States. So again, thank you. If you did not watch this, I'm going to try so much to have this on YouTube. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, the same name, and you will find it here. How long does the nursing course take? We will answer that next time, because I respect time, because we have family, we have kids, we have other things to do. So I will bring back Scholar another time. But in the meantime, I will post this on my YouTube channel. You can go and watch the whole of it and see if at all she answered that question. So other than that, you guys, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Scholar, you want to say bye?
Yeah, bye, everybody. If you have any more questions, just send them. I'll be able to answer them.
All right. Okay, bye, guys.